Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Wednesday, 19 November. I am your host Daniel, and today we're going to talk about the US Congress has approved a bill to force the release of the Epstein files. Meta has won an antitrust case as avoided a breakup, and Ukraine has struck Russian territory with an ATACMS missile. So firstly, both the houses of the US Congress passed a measure on Tuesday compelling the Justice Department to release all documents on the late financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Lawmakers in the House voted nearly unanimously in favor of the measure, with only one dissenting Republican voting against it. Hours later, the Senate also agreed by unanimous consent to consider the bill passed once it arrives in the House. This means no vote in the Senate is required and that it will be sent without debate to the President, Donald Trump, who has pledged to sign it into law. This comes as Trump U-turned on his position on the release of the Epstein files. So what? It seems highly likely that there's going to be nothing in these files. I would say that there's going to be a significant amount of redactions in these files, and they're not really going to provide any kind of evidence that, everyone's been looking for. Like most things that come out of governments, it's going to be carefully curated, and they're just not going to sell. Trump's not going to sign something into law that would hurt him. It's just, they can't drive it. I don't really see any other way. If there was anything in there, or if there was information as part of this that was damaging to the Republicans and Trump, then I would say it would be highly likely to have been redacted or removed at this point. And anyone who's looking for this to be the smoking gun to end Trump's political career is going to be sadly disappointed, would be my assessment of the situation. But yeah, it'll be interesting. There'll be plenty of media hype and talk about it, so I guess we'll find out. And lastly, the US tech giant Meta, formerly Facebook, has dodged a bullet on Tuesday, with the US District Judge James Boasberg ruling in favor of a major antitrust case filed by the US Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC, in 2020 and ending in May. The case posed an existential challenge to the company, charging that it had simply purchased Instagram and WhatsApp to stave off competition. An unfavorable ruling would have forced the company to divest from Instagram and WhatsApp. So what? The current FTC and their who runs it now and who's involved with it is completely different to the FTC that bought this case in 2020. The lady, I forget her name, who was running it back and then, was very well thought of in, breaking up large monopolies and these large tech companies. The current FTC takes a different tact under the current administration, and it is unsurprising that this has been their ruling. Similar cases are being heard around Google, around how big they are and how much control they have of certain markets. So yeah, Trump has always been, a president in favor of business. So it's unsurprising that we're not seeing the FTC be very ruthless in their breaking up of large corporations at this point. So yeah, not really a great result, I would say, for most people, as large companies destroy competition, and if there's no competition, then nothing ever gets cheaper. That's the crux of it, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't know, pretty shitty. And lastly, Ukrainian forces used a long-distance ATACMS missile to hit targets within Russian territory, the Ukrainian military's general staff said on social media. In the statement, they said the armed forces of Ukraine successfully employed the ATACMS tactical missile system to carry out a precision strike against military targets within the territory of Russia, adding that such a long-range strikes will continue. Ukraine has used the ATACMS long-range missile to attack targets within Russia. since it was authorized to do so by Washington in November 2024. Kiev has requested its allies further strengthen its long-range strike capabilities and provide Tomahawks and additional ATACMS missiles. So what? This kind of goes back to what I was saying about the Tomahawks, and that there is no wonder weapon that's going to win Ukraine this war. The world can give them unlimited long range. Well, not unlimited. Unlimited would win them the war because you could just destroy everything without any requirement for worrying about ammo. But in general, particular weapon systems aren't going to be a decisive factor. What is a decisive factor is the Russian economy, the Russian leadership, and boots on the ground. Sadly, 2 out of 3, Ukraine has the ability to conduct attacks against. The third is pretty tough. They don't really have the ammunition to use these types of weapons against just large congregation of troops. So yeah, it's a bit sad, but it's life. Yeah, I don't know. Things are looking pretty dire at this point. There's been a big turn in how people are talking about Ukraine online, and things aren't looking great at the moment, which is pretty shit because the long-term consequences of Ukraine's loss could be pretty bad, I'd say. So yeah, anyway, that's been your Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you again tomorrow. See you!